Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Randomly Random. I am Bwame, your internet's bestie. Today we are continuing with part 6, the final part of the TV series Money First. Grab your snacks and let's get into it.
The calling yet again comes true and shocks Ben and his family, but a question arises. How can a man be alive after being underwater for more than 3 days? The man is a burglar and a murderer named Griffin. A flashback shows us that he, alongside his friend, had robbed a bank and killed 3 men right before they drove into the river. Hence, he is sure to be convicted now that he has been found alive. Ben watches the news and theorizes that the man returned from the dead like Zeke, and the passengers did. Michaela meets Jared in the hospital and tells him about Zeke. He is annoyed that she didn't tell him about a stranger living in her apartment. Since Lords left him, he has been overly protective of Michaela and thinks that they will get back together sooner or later. Sanvi also comes to take a look at the newly resurrected man. She discovers he had been underwater for exactly 82 hours and 8 minutes, which relates to Flight 828. Michaela doesn't know what it means, but it is clear that he is somehow connected to them. Suddenly, Griffin wakes up and starts screaming that they are all going to die. He's experiencing a calling for the first time and is panicking since he doesn't know what it means. Before Michaela can ask him what he is seeing, he is sedated and knocked out for the next few hours. While they wait for him to wake up, Jared approaches Zeke and starts interrogating him. He clearly doesn't like the guy in his...
But why would the calling, or whatever power or spirit is behind the calling, use a burglar and a murderer to send a message across? And he was underwater and found alive. He was underwater for 82 hours and 8 minutes. Remember that their flight was called Flight 828. So many synchronicities. I'm wondering what is going on. And with Jared, are we surprised? You cheated on your wife, she left you, and now the girl that you thought you would be with when you broke up with your wife has found interest in somebody else. Who is to blame now? You. Let's see what happens with him.
Friendship with Michaela. A while later, Griffin wakes up and Michaela talks to him. She finds out that the calling he got was about a deadly bombing that is about to happen in New York City. Michaela tells him everything about the callings and asks for his help to stop the bombing. However, unlike the rest of the people who have returned, Griffin is not a good person. He wants to use the information about the bombing to get out of being convicted for murder and robbery.
I mean, that's smart.
Michaela tries explaining that this is not a matter of argument because many people's lives are in danger, but Griffin remains adamant. The police also have been tipped off about a terrorist attack tonight.
Look, I would do the same thing,
Upon finding out that Griffin knows about it, they are willing to provide him full immunity in turn for the information.
Look,
Ben
now he's a
starts
free
looking
man.
for more information on Griffin. Michaela plans to use them to manipulate him into helping the police. Olive helps Ben and finds out that Griffin had a brother-like friend who died in a robbery they did together. Both of them used to live with the same foster parents who might be able to give them more insight into Griffin. Ben sends Grace to meet the foster mother outside her home. The woman has no idea that he was alive as he ran away from home when he was 19. She saw him after several years yesterday on TV and knows nothing about him. However, she gives them a picture of Griffin and his late friend, which might help the case. After that, Michaela interrogates Griffin one more time and asks him how his best friend died. She has discovered that...
Anyway, is it not weird that the godmother saw him on TV and didn't go to the police to say, oh, I'm related to him, or oh, I know him? I don't know. Isn't that what... Okay, he ran away at 19. I feel like 19 is a legal age. That was over 18, so okay. I guess.
Griffin killed a man and put the blame on his friend, which caused his death later on.
Wow.
Griffin regrets doing it, but even the most vulnerable incident of his life doesn't break him. Eventually, the U.S. attorney signs off and sets Griffin free. He is a danger to society, but they at least know where the bombings are going to take place. In the meantime, Zeke goes to a house and tries to break inside. He is caught in the act and arrested, much to Jared's delight. He tries to paint Zeke as a thief in front of Michaela, but she knows the man better than that. When the two are alone...
You know, if the calling used a murderer and a burglar, remember in part 5, I was like, I'm not really sure of Zeke. Let's wait to see if he's a good person or not. Why was he going to steal? Or why was he trying to break into somebody's house? We don't know if he was going to steal. let's find out if he is indeed a good person or a bad person, because we still don't know where he came from. We just know that he was in a blizzard for like 1 year. And he was found in a cabin. Let's see.
He reveals that the house belongs to his mother. He missed her but didn't want to intrude, so he decided to break into her house and see what situation she is in. He knows it was a stupid move, but begs that his intentions weren't wrong.
Really?
Michaela trusts him and lets him free even though Jared disapproves. Hence, when no one is looking, he picks up Zeke's cup from the bin,
trust that.
hoping to find something out of it. Meanwhile,
Really? The house is for his mom and he couldn't just like knock on the door? Like he had to break in. He didn't have a spare key. What? He wanted to find out what condition she is in. I mean, once you see the house or the area where the house is at, you can sort of tell what condition the person is in. If the person lives in a slum, you know what condition they are in. If they live in an urban area, you know what condition they are in. If they live in the more rich part of neighborhood, you know what condition. You don't need to enter the house to see what condition they are in. I mean, like typically, I know that sometimes things are not as they seem. Somebody can live in the biggest of houses and still be struggling or whatever it is. But this explanation does not make sense. His story is going to be torn apart because, now I don't trust him.
Anvi has been paranoid since she was held at gunpoint earlier. She is startled by little things and afraid of her life. A fellow colleague, Dr. Matthews, suggests she see a therapist, but Sanvi insists that she is doing just fine. An hour later, all the bombs in the city are deactivated, which saves hundreds of lives. Because of Griffin's contribution, he turns into a hero overnight. However, Michaela sees a wolf growling at her from the crowd, which means the danger hasn't passed yet. Suddenly, something happens to Cal and he starts throwing things around. He breaks the school art project that he worked on all night yesterday. When confronted by his parents, he claims that something is about to happen, but he can only tell Zeke about it. Zeke, on the other hand, is at a store buying liquor. He used to be an alcoholic, but has told Michaela that he is sober currently. Things are not looking good for him because Jared has run an identity check on him and discovered that he has been arrested for assault before. He tells Michaela about it, but she in turn gets mad at him for stealing Zeke's prints off a cup. Right then, Griffin walks out of the police station in his new suit. He cockily tells Michaela that he is now a hero for the people of New York. As he leaves, she gets a calling asking her to stop him. The same thing happens to Ben and Zeke as well. Later that day, Michaela returns home and Zeke hides the bottle of alcohol. He also reveals that he went to see his mom again, but she didn't let him in.
Can't she smell
He's
it?
hurt because even after everything that happened, he is still a screw-up in her point of view. Michaela
does his
feels
mom
bad
not want
for
to
him,
see
but she
him?
has to ask him about the assault charges.
Yeah.
Zeke doesn't hesitate before revealing he got into a fight with a man who was troubling his friends at a club. He only started it because he was drunk and regrets it to this day. In the end, Michaela and Zeke hug and solve the confusion. In the hospital, another doctor finds out about the strange protein that was found in Cal's blood. Recently, he found the same protein in Griffin's blood too, which has sparked a rumor about them being alike. Sanvi is quick to shut the door, saying that it is probably a mistake in the test. However, she knows that she cannot keep it a secret for a long time. Suddenly, she starts to hyperventilate and has to stop and take deep breaths before calming down. Dr. Matthews witnesses.
Is she experiencing panic attacks or anxiety attacks? I mean, I feel like there's more to it than because she was held at gunpoint in part 5. I feel like there's more to, like, she hyperventilating. Maybe something is about to happen.
This and gives her the business card of a therapist. Somewhere else, Zeke goes to meet Cal and asks him what he wanted to say. Cal makes him promise that he will keep this a secret and shows him his most recent sketch. It shows graves of himself, Ben, and Michaela. According to the calling, the three are going to die. Zeke tells his parents that the kid is just shaken by different things happening to him. Right then, a news channel broadcasts that Griffin is about to appear in an interview. The family is scared that he will tell people about the callings and they will come after them for answers. The interview will put Cal at risk, and Ben wants to stop it at any cost. Jared has put his man behind Zeke to keep an eye on him. He witnesses the guy buying something from a sketchy place that day. Jared sees a picture of him doing so and suspects that he consumes drugs. But in reality, Zeke was buying a gun. He is willing to kill Griffin before he goes on TV and risk Cal's life. The next day is the day of the interview. A large crowd is gathered to cheer for
Look at
Griffin
the
as he
suit
walks
he's
past
in
them
now.
like a
Look.
celebrity. Zeke is
He's
ready to
cleaned up
shoot him, but
nice.
before he can, Griffin vomits gallons of water and dies instantly. It is almost as if he is drowning. Later that day, Sanvi confirms that he did in fact drown.
Oh my goodness. Is this how they are all going to die? Okay.
The effect of being underwater for 3 days affected him only after 3 days of coming out. It is a strange phenomenon, but at this point they are used to it.
What?
Later, Michaela goes to Zeke's
Wait, new fear unlocked. Are you telling me that somebody can drown and be revived and then few days later they succumb to the effect of that drowning? What? Huh. Whew, I hope that they are just saying this for supernatural purposes, like for the purposes of this movie. I hope that it's not something that actually happens in real life, because new fear unlocked. What? Oh no.
mother and introduces herself. The woman thinks that Zeke lied about being trapped in a cave because he was on drugs. Michaela clears things up, making her believe that her son has traveled through time like Flight 828. His mother cries and silently apologizes to him. Ben does more digging into the time of Griffin's death and discovers that he died after 82 hours.
Why is she telling Zeke's mother? Hasn't she put her in danger? That means now Zeke's mother is also about to die. Why did she do that? I know it was to repair their relationship, but I mean, looking at what might happen, I felt like keeping quiet. I feel like keeping quiet should have been the best option.
80 minutes of being resurrected. This means he lived for the exact time he was missing and died as he was supposed to. If this is true for
They're
everyone
all living
else,
for
the
5
passengers
years.
will also die 5.5 years after the plane landed. The date lands on June 2nd, 2024. Cal confirms this by showing them the sketch he made that now has dates on the tombstones. The family doesn't know how to react. Olive and Grace cannot lose their loved ones for the second time.
What? That is so annoying. Then why are they alive in the first place? Like, you should have just let them die. You should have just let them die. And remember that still that pilot is missing. The pilot that took off with the plane. Remember in part 5, I said a pilot took off with the plane. The pilot that was the pilot for flight 828 wanted to prove that it wasn't his fault that flight 828 disappeared. And then he went to take another plane, hijacked that scientist that was on the plane, and their plane was shut down, but it's also vanished. So what's going to happen to him? Does that mean he's also going to live like another extra 5 years? Like, what's happening? What's the point of bringing people back just to take them away? What is the force behind flight 828 disappearing? We've still not gotten to the bottom of it, and I mean, this video is about to end, so I really don't know if we'll get our answers, guys, but yeah.
Can do nothing to stop the inevitable. Moreover, Grace reveals that she is pregnant. Ben is overjoyed, but it turns out that she doesn't know if the baby is Danny's or his. Somewhere else, Sanvi goes to her new therapist, who happens to be the mayor. She is posed as someone Sanvi can trust to get direct insights on the passengers.
Oh my goodness. Now I don't trust the doctor that works with her, because he gave Sanvi the card of this supposed therapist, who is the major, the woman behind all these, the flights disappearance and the people being experimented on, the foreigners of flight 828 that were experimented on, remember, under the UDS and SP company. I don't like how this is going.
Their powers. In Michaela's apartment, Jared barges in and starts looking for drugs that he thinks Zeke hid somewhere. The men get into an argument when Zeke retaliates. At the same time, Michaela is climbing up the stairs when she hears a calling asking her to stop someone. She runs to her apartment just in time to hear a gunshot. Then the screen goes black, leaving the audience wondering who got shot. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification and leave a like to...
Guys, I guess we've been left with a cliffhanger, and I don't know if this is how the TV series actually ended, but I feel like we've had parts 1 to part 6 of, let's say, season 1 to season 2 or 3, and Maybe we should go look for the full movie, you know. I'll encourage you in your spare time, do look for the full movie. And that's because we've still not found out what exactly caused Flight 828 to disappear, why it actually disappeared. You know, we've still not found out all these things. But yeah, generally I enjoyed Manifest. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Like, it kept me on my toes. It is a TV series that if I had access to, I would actually really enjoy watching, you know. What are your thoughts? What would you rate Manifest? At least the part we've watched so far overall. What would you rate it? And would you go look for the full series if you have access to it and watch it? Would you? I definitely would. Guys, please do leave a thumbs up on this video, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. See you tomorrow. Bye.